it's no secret that NFL dominates the country. And I know the NBA's established itself as that second power. Do you believe that baseball is doing the right things to keep up right now?
Yes, I do. I think that, this game's in a great place. The young talent and position player wise, it's just remarkable. And the guys, the velocity that they throw at, it seemed like when, I got in the game in 2010, you had a guy throw 100 miles an hour, maybe a few around the league. Now you have a guy, it seems like a couple on each team that throw 100 miles an hour. And, we have a kid in college that was clocked at 105.5 miles an hour on his fastball, I think, at the university. I think he's at Tennessee. But it's remarkable the power that these pitchers possess. And you look at all of these kids these days. I mean, I go there in spring training, and they're all 6'4", 6'5". They're good looking. They're powerful. Their bodies.
Good looking.
I'm like, good Lord, what are you guys eating? Because, I got 4 kids and they're still little like their dad here. I was 6 foot first baseman. And so it's in a good spot.
Good. I want to talk about the quality of the game right now. I know hitters are really hitting right now, and they actually hit a historic low in batting average recently. A lot of people are pointing to the inconsistency of the baseballs right now. So would you say it's fair or foul that this is the reason we're seeing fewer hits right now?
I think that's foul. I know we love to kind of, create some kind of an excuse, but at the end of the day, it's baseball. It's the best cat and mouse game in all of sports is the hitter versus pitcher. You got a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, a guy with a breaking ball, a guy with a slider, and so it's tough. And then you move the fences back in Camden Yards. I'm like, no, we don't need to move the fences back. We need to move the fences in to generate some more offense. But, that's part of, April. The weather's cold up in the east. You battle some rainouts. Early in the season, there's always a little bit of that scatter stuff. A doubleheader's made up, rain out here and there. So I do always say, joking around, you got April showers is going to bring May flowers. So as it starts heating up, boys of summer start swinging the bats better. And I think it starts evening out a little bit.
On the other side, talking about the pitchers, we haven't seen very many go deep into games. Openers are becoming more and more popular. A lot of people are blaming the shortened spring training for this. So would you say that's fair or foul?
Once again, I think that's foul because, people always ask me, like, how many at-bats does it take for you to, be ready in spring training? And I was always in that guy, that 25 to 35 at-bats, which literally was about 2 weeks to 3 weeks max. And then we were always ready for the games to start, in the last couple of weeks of spring training, you're like, let's go. No one wanted to get hurt. Everybody wanted to kind of get going. So, we had a shorter spring training, and you would think the pitchers would be behind because that's usually what spring training is for the pitchers, the non-athletes. We got to sit there and PFPs, and they got to work up their pitch counts and all of the stuff. But now they've come out blazing, and so the offense seems to be a little bit behind. But I think everything will catch up and kind of get back to normal.
We can't leave out the umpires here. I know Angel Hernandez became public enemy number 1 recently with a rash of bad calls, and I feel like umpires are always under a microscope as is. Would you say it's fair or foul? It's time to plug in some robots and have them call balls and strikes, or is that wild?
My opinion, I think that's foul because I love the human factor. I love the Kyle Schwarber kind of, snap and looking back at Angel Hernandez and sticking up for the Brewers at that point and sticking up for his team at that point. And that's kind of been around, that's this game, pull the hat backwards, get an argument, get thrown out. Sometimes that's needed to happen. With a robot, I think then you lose the human factor. And I know that we're in a generation where we want everything perfect. We have so much information. We have so many papers and stuff. But the gut feeling of this game and the arguments that go on with this game have been part of baseball. It's kind of like hockey. There's always a fight that's right around the corner. If you took away the fights in hockey, then it would be like, it wouldn't be hockey. So I think the arguments that go on in baseball and the managers arguing, balls and strikes, it's been like that for years. Angel Hernandez definitely had a bad night. And so you saw when you have a bad night, you're going to get exposed. And Kyle Schwarber had one of the best, snaps that we've seen in a while.
Is there anything the league should do, you think, to hold umps more accountable? I know it kind of sounds corny to say it, but should they be held to some sort of a strike system where if they mess up long enough, there is some sort of repercussion?
Yeah, I think from a player side, that was always the big case. Like we're accountable. If we don't hit, we get sent down, we get benched. Umpires, they could take the bat out of your hand on a bad call and it's like nothing happens. So yeah, the accountability would be nice to see. And just, maybe, maybe that's open to the public. Like, this is how bad you were that night. You were at 65% and you need to be better because you are the best in the world. So being a big league, umpire. So I think the accountability is always talked about with players, is that the umpires, are they ever held accountable? And supposedly they are behind the scenes, but I think they need to be better at certain nights and, and being professional. You're going to make a mistake, and it's okay to say, I'll take a look at that pitch. And there's a way to argue, Mac. You can't just turn around and start cussing at the guy because you're probably going to be thrown out. But there's many times, I never got thrown out of a game, but I argued a lot of balls and strikes. And you can do that looking down, saying, hey, you can't give him inside or out. You can't give him both. Take a better look at that pitch. And, that's just man-to-man talking, in the heat of the moment. But, the accountability, I think that the umpires need to be held to a higher standard at times.
All right, final fair or foul question we have for you. So is Sweet Caroline the best ballpark song of all time, even better than Take Me Out to the Ball Game?
Hey, I say fair, because you have the entire stadium finishing the song. They'll have that song on, and then Neil Diamond goes to zero, and the rest of the fans continue on that Sweet Caroline. And you go, da,
you have to sing
da.
along to it. I don't argue with that.
Right? It doesn't matter. You're singing along, your head bobbing. It's a fun time. And no matter what the score is, those 3 minutes are fun.
Hey, sports fans, if you want to watch more sports seriously, be sure to check out these clips right here. And make sure you're subscribed to the channel to see all the great content from us here at USA Today Sports.